Hi, my name is Kumar. You are listening to Kumarscape, where we talk about how to live a healthy, stress-free life. Today I'm joined by my father and mental toughness coach Puneet Kumar. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, Avi. How are you?
I'm doing great. I understand you are a mental health expert. Go ahead and explain what it is you do.
Yeah, so as a mental toughness coach, I work with mostly teenagers. Sometimes I work with adults too. And I provide them a structured uh, curriculum based training, which is around 8 skills that I teach in my program. Those 8 skills are divided into 4 modules. And usually it's like 8 month curriculum that we go through when I'm working uh, with any athlete or high school kids.
Wow, okay. So I already know your experience in sports, but why don't you just explain to the listeners how long you've been around sports?
Yeah, I have been around sports for almost 8 years now. And I have a lot of experience working with athletes and also high school kids in general as well.
And so, there's a lot of coaches that are into physical fitness, and they focus more on that. So why did you choose mental toughness?
Yeah, physical fitness is definitely required. I mean, I'm not saying that it's one versus the other. How I would put it is like they are complementary skill, right? So, to be a world class athlete, you need to have physical fitness. That is a essential part of every athletic training. But what people often neglect or do not pay enough attention is the mental toughness, because mental toughness is also as important as athletic training and also learning the technical aspect of the game. So the way when I teach kids, I tell them that okay, there are 3 parts to the training. One is learning the technical skill, the other is physical training, and the third, often neglected component of the athletic training is the mental toughness.
Awesome. Okay, so now that we know a little bit about you, let's get into our main topic today: the importance of mental toughness for athletes.
Yeah, so like I was saying, every athlete needs to be very needs to be basically able to withstand the pressure of competition, right? Because when you're competing, often in the heat of the moment, athletes they lose their focus or they start focusing on wrong things. They get too emotional and let those emotions cloud their judgment. Uh, just when they are competing, their mental awareness, their ability to make right decision is all very important. Um, that's the important aspect of the training that I provide, making sure that when athletes are competing, they have this mindset which is kind of allowing them to put everything that they have learned in best possible way. Because whenever we feel frustration, anger, anxiety, our performance goes down, right? We perform at our peak when we are feeling good, when we are happy, when we are stress free. Those are the conditions that create optimal performance for every athlete. And in order to stay in those conditions, like stress free zone, you have to have certain skills which are kind of mental toughness skill, which allows you to put your technical skill and physical strength at uh, you know in a way that you would like them to be during a tough match or a competition.
So you say mental toughness skills. Can you explain what skills? Because when you're playing tennis, like me, from the technical standpoint, you can have a skill like a big serve, a good forehand. What what is a mental toughness skill that people can work on?
Yeah, so for tennis, the number one skill that people can start with is self awareness, right? Self awareness about um, how do you respond to stressful situations? So say it's a tight set, the score is 4-5 and you're serving, right? Which means that you have to hold your serve, otherwise you're going to lose the set, right? Now that's obviously, it's going to put some extra pressure on athlete. And a lot of athletes start making double faults or they get tired. So you have to be aware that, okay, this is what is happening with me over the last, say, couple of matches. And every time I'm serving, when to stay in the set, I make some, silly mistakes. Once you have this awareness, you can do something about it, right? A lot of people just, they don't even have this awareness. They blame on other things, that it was windy and the guy was cheating, or it was just too hot or too cold, rather than accepting and acknowledging that it was their emotion which was the biggest barrier that caused them to make those double faults.
Okay, and that's also kind of at the end there. You were just talking about, talking like complaining about things that aren't in your control. So, I mean, is there something like, is that another thing, or is that part of self-awareness, or?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the training. I mean, and part of self-awareness training as well, because if you are, you should know that what is in your control and what is not in your control, right? Mm-hmm. And things which are not in your control, like the way wind is blowing, or the temperature, or even the behavior of your opponent, right? If your opponent is trying to get under your skin, that could be his strategy. And that could go against you if you're not aware that you get ticked off or you're responding in the wrong way. I mean, this is an important part of mental toughness training, that you need to focus on things that you can control, and just not worry about things that are beyond your control.
Yeah. So before you focused on mental toughness in sports, you worked in the business corporation. You were very successful there. Do you think some of the mental toughness things that you have, taught to your students, do you think they helped you in the business world too, outside of sports?
Yes, indeed they do. I mean, in a lot of big corporations in the US, people are talking about emotional intelligence these days. I think almost all the S&P 500, the large corporations in the US, they have, emotional intelligence training, and especially with what happened last year, the Black Lives Matter movement and other things, people in the corporations have started teaching unconscious bias, because often we have unconscious biases. So a lot of corporations are teaching, are providing courses on that. So mental toughness is a very essential skill to be a successful business person or a professional, because I mean, your ability to handle stress, basically decides how successfully can you manage people. Because if you're getting stressed out, it will be hard for you to manage others and manage your clients and customers around you.
Sounds good. Well, thank you so much for joining the podcast today. You can visit Puneet. You can visit his website at mysmartathlete.com, and your Instagram is also mysmartathlete.
Yes.
All right. Great. Thanks, sir.
Thank you, Avi.